Good evening and welcome to another series of Light Talk Business on the Rahim Show. And as you all know, I'm your host, Ricky Ali. I want to welcome my viewer on Facebook and YouTube. I want to say thanks for following our show tonight. For some of you who are following us via Facebook and YouTube, I want to welcome all of you. Please like, share, and subscribe. We highly appreciate you for that. And also don't forget to make some comment because these are things that actually encourages us to do more. So tonight, just for a short time, I'll show Light Talk Business. As you all know, Light Talk Business is designed to just provide you with some business information, especially for those of you who are in business. I want you to just tune in and learn a lot because tonight we're going to talk about small businesses and how you can become successful by doing your small business. So tonight, just for a short time, we are going to talk about running a successful small business. So if you're following the show, please share the show so that people can follow as well. So tonight, just for a short time, like I said, we are going to dive into our discussion tonight, Light Talk Business, and we're going to share the number momentarily so that you can be able to call and be a part of the show as well. So we're going to share the number so that you can be able to call and ask any business question. We are here. We will consult the expert to be able to help us to answer some of these questions. But we are going to discuss how you can run a successful small business tonight. So, I just wanted to give you a background before I dive into what we are here, for tonight. When I was in Liberia, proud to me getting into business because initially I would like to use my story, as a way, to just give you some of the background for which I decided to, get into business. So initially, when I was in high school, I used to be very good at biology and chemistry. Most of my colleague high school friends who know me, they can attest to that. I didn't want to, get into business at all. I wanted to be a medical doctor. That was all I dreamed to become. But long story short, because of the prevailing situation at the time at the University of Liberia, in science college, you would stay for a longer period of time because of the lack of equipment, and some of the teachers would not pay on time. So every now and then, you have issue with the science college or so. So that's where that was the reason why I ended up diverting to do business. So I went into business college, and I learned pretty good. I had a good grade, 3 point something GPA at the end of the time that I stayed in the University of Liberia. So, and my uncle to employ me, and I started working. So I started having a lot of business idea. So I have a pretty good background about business. So when I moved to the USA, I also engaged myself into so many other business activity, and I read so many books. So I believe that it is important when you want to do a business, you have to be well prepared because business is not about you having the money, but if you're not organized, and also if you don't have financial control, if you're not well disciplined, you cannot get into business. First of all, you might ask yourself, you might have the money, which is one of the important things, but are you prepared? Because you have to do market research, you got to do a lot of planning, and you got to know your target market, you got to know a lot of things. So it's very important. So as we discuss this topic, If you're following the show via Facebook and YouTube, it's very important that you listen, because some of the tips that I'm going to provide are all real life, tip issue that you can, employ into your business and succeed. Because my goal on the Rahim Show is to help people with information, current information that will help them succeed in the business. So tonight we are discussing running a successful small business. How do you run a small successful business? For some of you who are into small businesses, like most of my colleagues that I know that sell African clothes and other things, and even the CEO who just offered me the $50 gift card, they are all watching. They're all watching to know how they can succeed, when it comes to small businesses. And I'm going to provide you 9 important tips that are very important that you can utilize, and also employ these tips, to your business, and and take these approaches to help, make your business become successful, because that's the main goal for which I'm discussing this topic tonight. So running is successful small business. How do you run a small or a successful small business? That's what we are going to discuss. So to build a successful small business, you have to be well organized. And this is where more people find it difficult. How can you want to run a small business if you are not organized? If you're not organized, don't get into business. Then I tell you, business and you are not compatible. If you want to get into business, you have to be well organized. And you have to also be flexible, and creative. Among many characteristics, you should also be prepared to make some personal sacrifices. That is dedication. You have to dedicate yourself to the business. Make some sacrifices, because if you don't make some sacrifices for the business, you will not succeed. If somebody call you, say, "Oh, I need something, take it and meet me to this place," you have to make your sacrifices, because why? One of the major things that more people don't really care about is a customer. You see, like Amazon care for the customer. One of Amazon core value is customer is always right. The customer is always right. And that is important, because if you prioritize the customer, these are people who come and buy for you. If you don't take them serious, how do you expect these people to tell other people about the business? You first have to take these people serious and retain these people on a consistent basis. Then from there, they are able to tell other people about your product and the services or things you provide. Then you're getting more customers from just satisfying the current customer you have. So it's very important. So you have to make sacrifices if you want to do business, if you want to succeed. So these 9 tips will help you get your business started and keep you growing. These 9 tips that I'm about to provide, they are very essential, to you as a business person, because it's going to help you succeed in your business. So we want to say that beyond these tips, you have to focus on the practical, right? Focus on customer satisfaction. Building a strong team, very essential to your small business. Very, very important. So let's dive through the 9 tips, so that many of you can be able to learn some of the things that we are sharing on this show tonight. So number 1 is get organized. As a small business, if you're not organized, you will not succeed. To be a successful small business, you need to be well organized. And by that, what do I mean? Get organized. To achieve success as a business owner, you first have to be well organized. That will help you complete a task efficiently, because if you're not organized, you will not complete your task efficiently and stay on top of many things that need to be done. Because take for instance, if you're not well organized and you have all your goods all over the places, and you're not able to make sure that you organize your goods, and customer is calling you, the other person is calling you, you get so confused, and you're not taking care of this customer need. I mean that you are disorganized. So at the end of the day, you get yourself, you will start losing a lot of customer. But when you're well organized, you're on top of your game, you will succeed. And doing business is not a rocket science, to be honest. You have to be well prepared, and you have to be organized. So that's the first thing you have to do. You have to be well organized. A simple way to get or to stay organized is to create a to-do list. Always have a list. You know, accounting student will tell you that you need to have record for everything you do. If you don't have record for everything you do, most likely you will end up, having yourself confused at some point. And you don't want to do that because when you have a lot of customers that need whatever goods or whatever services you provide, you have to be well organized and you have to have record of people who needs things or services that you provide. So you have to have create a to-do list each day. As you complete each item, check it off your list. Since some tasks are more important than others, aim to tackle the high priority tasks. Like for instance, you have a customer who is in maybe Atlanta, and he or she needs $500 goods, and you have the other customer who need. I'm not saying do not prioritize all customer, but make sure that if you have the new customer who have heard about your product and want something urgently, make sure you prioritize that customer. Add that customer to your customer list because why? That customer become a priority because why? Somebody have told that customer about your goods. You don't want that customer to lose. You don't want to lose that customer because it's a new customer. The way you certify that customer might create that customer telling another person about your product. So it's very important that you do that. Well organized. Number 2 of the tip, keep detailed record. And this is one of the things a lot of businesses don't do. Even within Liberia, a lot of Liberian businesses, they don't keep record. They don't keep record. For instance, you have a business in Liberia. You open a small business. You have 1 or 2 persons working with you. You don't even dedicate yourself to the business. You just out of the business. You're going out. All you trust the people that is in the store. And these people, they form a habit based on what they see you do. If you not dedicate yourself to the business, if you don't take record, most of the time they're gonna make mistake and things gonna get missing. And that's why inventory is very important, because people do inventory because why? They want to see the goods that are being sold from the goods that are remaining in the store. That's why they do inventory. Then they know how to match the record. Take for instance, if I have 100 foam and I have sold 25, if I don't do inventory, the inventory will not tell me the balance of the foam remains 75 because what? I don't take record. But if you do record, then you will know exactly out of the 100 foam that was entered the store, you have 25 that are being sold and 75 is remaining because you took inventory. So always take record of your business. Always take record, and that is how you even know that you have sold this amount of goods from the one that is remaining, and you know how much you have sold, and you know the amount of money that you have on hand, and that's how you learn your profit. Last time I had one of my sister Josephine who came on the show. She started her little business with just $200, a hair business, right? Today she have thousands of dollars. You know how? Just a simple things. Simple things you can use to succeed. I mean, you just have to be dedicated and you have to, prioritize your customer, because customer satisfaction, beyond the practical, customer satisfaction should be one of the priority that you have to take very serious. So, long story short, she started, selling her things. She would, give it to people, and people would pay. At the end of the day, people started buying for her, and she was serious. She was not like, because somebody don't buy today, she get, weak. No, she was taking her business serious. As long as you dedicate to the business and you see your business, and you have a, long-term goal and a short-term goal, you will succeed. Honestly, you will succeed. So we are discussing 9 tips. For some of you who run small businesses, we are discussing 9 tips that will help you to succeed, as you run your small business. So share the podcast, make some comment, and also subscribe. We highly appreciate you for that. So number 2, we said keep detailed record. Most of the time we don't keep detailed record, and detailed records are very important, because why? No matter how busy you are, successful businesses take the time to keep careful accounting record. No matter how busy you are, if you don't keep record, if you don't check, what has been sold from what is remaining, you will not know exactly what your business is hailing to. You will not know. Suppose something is missing. Suppose you have people working in the store stealing from you. You don't even know, because you don't take detailed record. But if you do record, you will know exactly. That is what we call inventory. You have to do inventory. It's very important for the business. So by doing so, they know where the business stands financially and can often get better. Yes, just by taking record, you know exactly where the business stands financially because you know what you have sold. Take for instance, the business not selling much, and if you don't do detailed record, how can you decide to do something called promotional sale? You know, most of the time, most of the big companies like Amazon and Walmart, they do what we call promotional sale, and these sales are temporary reduction of the price. You know, like for instance, if something was sold like $10 and they decide, okay, we are not selling this thing, you know, people are not buying the item, you know, as many, you know, so they decided to do what we call a temporary reduction of the price and do promotional sale. If they were selling $10, they decided to do it 2 for $15. That trick up buyer to go and say, oh, I saw the thing with $10, but now 2 for $15. They go and buy more again. See, that's kind of business strategy to be able to, you know, make customer to come and buy the thing. So if you don't do all of those things, you will not succeed. And if you don't take record to know exactly what has been sold from what is remaining in your store, you will not know how where the business is heading. That's what it is saying. That's what number 2 tip is saying. Keep detailed record because by doing so, you will know where the business stands financially, and you can often get better. See, grab all any potential challenges that might be fixing. You know, that way you can be able to know what are some of the challenges. Why am I not selling? Why do I have more goods from what I have sold? You know, then you know exactly what to do. Then you can be able to employ, you know, some of the different strategy to be able to make customer to come and buy your goods. So let's proceed to number 3. Number 3 says, first of all, many businesses today keep 2 set of record for the record. Many businesses today keep 2 set of record. And what I do record, you know, one is physical record and another one is in a cloud because of, you know, technology. Sometimes it's also good to keep your business record, to have a file, you know, in a cloud where just in case if your physical record is got damaged from flaw or something, you have that document in the cloud. You know exactly what, you know, you can just put in your username and password. You go straight in the cloud, you see all your record. So that's the idea of, you know, most the introduction of technology have made it so easy that you can do both physical set of record and and record in the cloud, so that you, when just in case of any physical, you know, even you are able to have your record still available to you. So number 3 is organize your competition and analyze your competition rather. Analyze your competition. I want you to understand this is very important, right? If you are into an African clothes business, you know there are a lot of people who sell the same African clothes, right? So now, how do you analyze your competition? You have to analyze your competition. You got to know that people sell almost the same thing you are selling. But how do you now get more customers coming to you? That's what you have to do. Analyze your competition. You know, a lot of people are competing with you, selling almost the same thing you are selling. But how? To be a success, to be successful, you cannot afford to ignore your competitor. Like I said, you have a competitor. You cannot take the time to study and learn from them. Larger companies will devote significant resources attaining this sort of competitive intelligence, because you have to use competitive intelligence so that you can be able to have more customers. Because the thing about it is you want to have a good market share. You want to have more people coming to buy your product. So like I said, customer satisfaction is one way for you to gain a competitive advantage. How you go about analyzing the competition can depend on the nature of your business. If you are a restaurant, for instance, or a store owner, you may simply be able to down or shop at a competitor place or business, ask customer what they like or do not like about it, and gain information that way. So take for instance, if you're a restaurant, right, you're doing food business, right? Always, get a feedback from customer. If you're providing service, get a feedback. And that is how you know that you can be able to improve when there is a problem from the feedback. Most of the time you see people give positive feedback and people get wrong feedback because of the product you sell. Even on TikTok, when people buy product, they ask you for a review of the product. And the review is somehow a way for the person who is offering the product or selling the product to improve. If the product did not deliver, then it's on the part of the person who sell the product so that they can be able to do more to improve. So all of these things are all important because why? You don't want your competitor to win the market over you. Then you will not be in business. So you have to make sure that all of these things are all analyzed by you, so that you cannot allow your competitor to actually win the business over you know. So another thing is you got to understand the risk and the reward. So most of the time, this is where a lot of people find it difficult. I want to get in business, but do you consider the risk and the reward? Because risk first before reward. You have to take risk. And business is a risk-taking stuff. If you want to get into business, understand that business is a risk-taking. Because there are times you may not even get profit. Even if you have a short-term goal, 5 years, you may not get, you may break even 5 years. There are times you break even. You just, all your effort, everything, you got the same amount of money at the end of the day. So there are times. So it's risk taking. And sometimes you even lose. Sometimes you even lose. You saw what happened when the tariff, when our president introduced the tariff. You saw what happened to the market. Um, people, a lot of people are 401k and all the financial things went down. Because why? There was a huge effect on the market. So a lot of people lost so many money. So it just tell you that sometimes you will lose, but you still not need to give up because there is a reward after you have lost. Because business comes with risk. So you got to understand the risk and the reward when it comes to doing business. Small businesses have a risk factor and it has a reward factor. That is why I said dedication is very important. Because if you're not dedicated to the business, if you don't consider some of these things that we are saying, then I beg you, business and you are not compatible. You're fine. If you want to do business, I know you got to do planning. I know you got to do market research. I know you got to do all the things. They are all important to beginning a business. But now that you're in the business, how do you grow a successful small business? You have to understand the risk and the reward of the business. And by that, what do I mean? Another key to being successful is taking calculated risk. I got a friend who worked in the real estate. His name is he's working in a private real estate, and I love some of his show. He comes late in the night, Otacia Gimmer. The guy is very good at his work. He explained a lot of things about people taking financial risks. People don't want to take risks. To succeed, you have to take risks. And some of the things are very important. And a lot of people don't want to take risks. Risks are very important because if you want to do business, you want to succeed, you have to consider the risk factor. If you don't consider the risk factor, you will not succeed. There are people who started a business, and today I tell you, they lost, they went back. They lost, they went back. They lost, they went back. But yet instead they didn't give up, and today they are successful. You know how many $1 billion some people can lose when you hear about what he needs tax law this guy who lost billions of dollars. He doesn't care because he knows that he's going to make profit to cover that losses. So you see, there are a lot of times business people lose because why? Business as a whole has a risk factor, and that's why we are saying here for small businesses, understand the risk and the reward that come by doing small business. So understand the risk and reward. So this is a key to being successful is taking the calculated risk. Besides contemplating the potential reward if you succeed, a good question to ask is, what is the downside if this doesn't work? That's one of the things people always ask themselves. What is the downside if this business I'm about to do or the business I'm doing, what if it doesn't work? If you start to think about that, if you start to contemplate about the negative about the business, then don't take the risk. Because it's like you are not well organized to take that risk. Because I tell you, there is no business that I begin or that I become that never went through some sort of risk or some sort of losses. People who have succeeded, they give the testimony. You will see some of the testimony, and they tell you, they share this testimony and they tell you that I went through these crashes, I went through this one, I went through before they became successful. So it tells you that you have to take risks. You got to calculate, the risk that involved when you're doing small business. So when you understand the risk, you'll know exactly how to organize yourself because there is a reward after the race. If you take a race, it don't mean that you're gonna be, having race all the time. No, race is possible, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna be consistent. No, there are times you will experience the reward for the business that you do, but you have to be consistent. You have to be dedicated. So the next thing here, as we talk about our show, if you're watching the show via Facebook and YouTube, I want to welcome you to the Rahim Show. As you all know, I'm your host, Ricky Ali. Tonight, we are talking about running a successful small business. And how do you run a small successful business? And we are providing 9 important tips to help people who are into small successful business, especially my CEO, the one who sent me the $50 gift card, and many other people that I know here. Some of my friends who sell African clothes, AC African collection, simple but heavy, and then also TD Banks. All these guys, they are doing small businesses, and I'm telling them, how do you succeed by doing these small businesses? Is what I'm telling you. These 9 tips will help you as you flip through Facebook and watch the show live. These 9 tips, listen to these 9 tips, and we are on number 5. I'm going to recap once I'm done, but we're on number 5 here. And number 5 say, be creative and strategic. And this is where a lot of people are not really good at. When we had this cell phone company in Liberia, we had a company called LaborCell. When LaborCell rose, became one of the competitor in cell phone and telecommunication industry in Liberia. They had a good plan. They had a good plan. But you know what led to them dying naturally? Because there was no good strategic approach. That's why they died naturally. So it's very important to have a strategic approach. And this is where you want to come up with creative idea. What do I do to make my customer, to stay? And then also create some sort of, unique selling, trigger that will make other customers to come. You have to create idea. If you don't create idea, how do you expect to retain the customer you have and also encourage other customers? So you have to be creative and strategic. And then that was the reason why you see LaborCell died a natural death, because why? They were not creative and strategic. So when you don't have a strategic plan, I tell you, or strategic approach, you will not be able to know, what can I do? You see, a strategic manager is thinking on what to come up with, what idea to, what kind of design, what kind of thing to do, because why? His idea is to make sure that I need more customer. His goal is I want more customer. I will satisfy the customer that I have, but I need more customer. So that was that is very important for small businesses. As you flip through Facebook, like and share, and also make some comment. We are talking about running a successful small business. And for some of you who are into small businesses, how do you succeed as a small business person? So we are providing you 9 tips on the show tonight. 9 tips that can help you to succeed as a small business person. So share the podcast, make some comment. We highly appreciate you for that. We are saying number 5, say, be creative and strategic. See, always look for ways to improve your business and make it stand out from the competition. You know very well what you are selling, other people are selling it. And there is nothing new under the sun. Everything you are selling, people have sold it before and people are selling it. So you know very well that when you get into business, you will have competitors, you will have people competing with you. But then how do you gain a competitive advantage? How? Is by being creative and strategic. If you're not creative and strategic, you will not gain competitive advantage. So you see, always look for ways to improve your business and make it stand out from the competition. Recognize that you do not know everything. Be open to new ideas and different approaches. You see, all of these things will help you. Don't act like you know everything. Always learn. Learn from people who have succeeded in business before. Learn from people who've been in business and they have, done well. Ask them about the approaches. Be adaptable. Don't act like you know everything. No. See, that is how you become, successful. As a small business person watching this show tonight, I'm encouraging you. some of the tips that we are providing are very helpful tips to help you, make you successful. Because we are talking about running a successful small business. How do you run a small successful business? By being creative and strategic. If you're not creative and strategic, you will not succeed as a small business person. So, folks, share the podcast, make some comment, like. We highly appreciate you tonight. So, we are saying be creative and strategic, right? Always look for ways to improve your business and make it stand out from your competition. Recognize that you do not know everything and be open to a new idea and different approaches. Keep an eye out for opportunity to expand your current business and develop a relative enterprises that can lead to additional revenues and provide a benefit or diversification. See, you have to, I mean, people who have been in business, when they watch these kind of things that we are discussing, they enjoy them because they understand what I mean by being creative and strategic, because that is how you succeed. You don't want just be stagnated and be satisfied with maybe the 50 customer you have. Oh yeah, I have 50 customers, so saying I'm satisfied my 50 customer, I'm okay. No, that is not a business mind. A business mind is, yes, I have 50 customers. I'm trying my best to make sure that they are satisfied always, but yet I'm making way to improve and get more customers. That is a business mind. That is how you grow. That is why vision is all important when it comes to business. Any business without vision, that business will not even succeed, because the business has to have a vision. How do you see the business in 10 years? Do you want to be selling one Snickers every day for the next 10 years? No. You want to start with one Snickers, after one Snickers, two, three. That is a vision. It's how you envisage what the business. That is how you succeed. In 10 years, you will have had a whole table full of Snickers. So you see, that is how business mind works. And that is how you succeed. So it's very important. So another thing here, which we have to consider, another tip that is important to running a small successful business, is stay focused on your goal. This is where people get distracted. You have a goal. Okay, I plan, this is my goal. Take for instance, okay, out of the business, this is what I'm going to do. This is where I budget. I pay for the store. I pay my worker. I do the one. Have a goal. And this is what we are going to save after we sell this. You have that goal. Don't get distracted from that goal, because if you do so, you are hampering the business. You are hampering the business if you get distracted. So always stay focused on your goal. Your goal is what? After 2 years, you want to expand. Let it be your focus. Don't get distracted. I don't care how you break even. Be motivated and be resilient and have that phone. Dedicate yourself to what you want to do. And I tell you, if you do it with dedication, you will certainly succeed. So stay focused on your goal. The old saying is, Rome wasn't built in a day. We all know that Rome wasn't built in a day. Apply to building a business as well. Just because you open a business doesn't mean that you are going to start making money immediately. See, just because you open a business doesn't mean that, oh, money coming. No, you know that you have competitor, and whatever you even sell, maybe somebody already selling it, and somebody even selling it cheaper. See, you see, even with a gas station, even though gasoline is kind of a good business because a lot of people need gas. It's not like Gene Trazo and other things. So, but gas, you see one gas station is selling the gas $3.14, another gas station $3.11. People still go buy the gas $3.14. They don't mind, but I send, because why? They want to get gas. It's different from ordinary things like Gene Trazo or clothing or thing you have. Because with clothing, people are looking for quality, and also they are looking for customer satisfaction. See, beyond the product issue, right? Customer satisfaction is very important, and you want to satisfy the customer. If you don't do that, I tell you, you will have an issue with your business. So stay focused on your goal. There is an old saying that says Rome wasn't built in a day. Of course, yeah, apply to the building of the business as well. Just because you open a business doesn't mean that you are going to start making money immediately. It takes time to let people know who you are and what you have to offer. So stay focused on achieving your goal. Yes, you have to stay focused on achieving your goal. And number 7 say, provide great customer service. This is a very important part. If you do this, provide customer service. Customer service should be one of the highest priority. That's why I work with Amazon and Whole Food Market, to be specific, for 3 years. When I was in that play, I worked directly in the produce department. I worked there, and I see how, some of my supervisors, how, we have to talk to the customer nicely, because Amazon make, money from these, customer, because the customer are the most important stakeholder of the business. And you don't want to, create an environment for one customer. Then one customer is going to also report that information to the other customer, and then people are going to be leaving from the business, and that will affect the business, and then you will be in trouble. So you have to prioritize customer, and the customer needs and want has to be one of the things you go to bed, you dream about. What can I do to satisfy my customer? Be creative and strategic. That is how you retain the current customer you have, and you also find way to acquire new customers. It's very important. So provide great customer service. Too many businesses forget the importance of providing great customer service. Too many businesses, yeah. Especially in Liberia. A lot of people, customer in the store, then you see people not even attempting to the customer and wonder, what? What? This guy who bringing money to the store, you're not even serious about him? The fact that somebody walk into the store, that person should be, you work in the store, you should be very receptive to receive the, oh, sir, how you doing? How can I be a help to you? Be very receptive to the person. And that's how you work. When you work on the person warmly, and then also the way you address the person, and then also make sure you help the person, accompany the person to help the person on whatever things they want. If you do that, that person go with satisfaction that, oh yeah, I went to the business, I want to purchase something, and the way I was treated was nice. That information is being translated to somebody too who will want to go have an experience because they have had an experience. See? So it's very important to treat customer right and prioritize customer. So too many businesses forget the importance of providing great customer service. If you deliver better service for your customer, you will be more inclined to come to. They will be more inclined rather to come to you the next time, and then they will encourage other people to come and have the same experience that they have had. It's very important. So high quality service is one key to obtaining a competitive advantage. See, high quality service. Your product is very nice, and yourself who's delivering the product, you are nice to the customer. You already gain competitive advantage. Anybody out there who is running a small business can listen to some of these things that we are sharing. When you are into small businesses, be it service or goods that you provide, whatever thing you do, make sure that you are providing high service or high quality product to your customer. And also make sure you are doing it with that receptive, quality, understanding that the customer is the most important stakeholder of the business, because they are the one who's going to buy the product, and that money you're getting from the product, they bring you money. Take for instance, you open a business, no customer enter. What will happen to the business? The business will eventually break down, because you got a goods. The goods themselves cannot create money. It is people who have to come buy the goods. So the business is going to break down. So you need people to come to the business. So you need to create that trigger, and customer satisfaction have to be one of your top priorities. Very important. And the next thing here, you got to be consistent. I tell you, business comes with consistency, dedication. If you're not dedicated to the business, don't get in business. If you want to do business, if you're watching the show via Facebook on YouTube right now, please, if you want to get yourself involved into small business, or if you are running a small business and you want to succeed, these 9 things that I'm just giving you are very important for you to succeed as a small business person. Be consistent. If you're not consistent, you will not succeed. If you're not consistent, you will not succeed. Because earlier we said one of the tables was why there is a risk and reward that come with business. And a lot of times people don't want to get the risk, they won't get the reward. And know that when you begin a business doesn't just start and money just start coming in. First of all, people got to get used to the business, and you got to go out there and make people come to the business. So you see, and you got to provide high quality and customer satisfaction. Got to be one of your top priorities. That is how you make money. Because if you don't prioritize that customer, many a time people don't take customers seriously in Liberia. You see somebody walk to the store rather, nobody want to attend to the person and make that person feel like they are in a good place and that they are welcome. You don't treat your customer that. You got to understand this guy, money he bringing, whether that $5 or $10 buying something. When you calculate that particular person who have come to your store, out of one, you calculate thousands of people who walk to the store the same way you certify that one. You have already made a lot of money. So always treat customer not based on how they look, but the fact that they walk into your store. Treat all customers with respect, and make sure you prioritize them because they're supposed to be the top priority because they're the important stakeholder of the business. Without a customer coming to the business team, you make money. You're not making money. You get gene for the whole house, and you're selling it. If one customer not walking, you hold that gene. At the end of the day, it will get rotten. So you have to, satisfy customer, and then be consistent. If you're doing this to satisfy customer, be consistent. Don't get twisted. Don't get distracted. If you have a goal, this is my goal. I want to achieve my goal. Don't get distracted on your goal. Let your goal be your goal and work towards that goal. You will achieve it. I don't care how you break even when you start in a business because they're all part of the race aspect that we talk about. Business comes with race, but you have to have a goal, and that goal is for you to achieve something. And the last thing, be consistent, right? Consistency is a key component to a successful business or to succeed in business. Why? If you're not consistent with what you are doing, with some of these things that we are lacing, if you're not consistent, if you're not well organized, if you're not taking inventory, not taking record, if you're not doing things right, you know what happened to the business? You won't even know whether somebody is stealing from the business. So you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. You have to keep doing what is necessary to be successful. Yeah, one more time. You have to do what is necessary to be successful. Day in and day out. This will create a long-term positive habit that will help you make money in the long run and create satisfied customers from a day one. Customer values consistency too. See? It tells you just explain everything, how you can become consistent in the business and how just by being consistent to the business, right? It will help you in the long term. Because if you're not twisted, if you're not somebody who just moved from one point to another point, you just, gallivanting or no, you want to be consistent. If this is your plan, focus on your plan and achieve it. So folks, if you're watching the show, this is the Rahim Show. We are talking about, this is our segment of Like Talk Business, and we are talking about running a successful small business. How do you run a successful small business? We are providing you 9 tips that will help you on how you can succeed by doing a small business. And number 9 is say, prepare to make some sacrifices. Yes, prepare to make some sacrifices. Yes, you have to prepare. Having your own business often requires putting in more time. And this is where people don't want to do. Oh yeah, I got my business, I got my brother who will take care of it. So you're just passing all around, your brother taking care of it. Do you have the passion your brother has? Do you have the passion to succeed? Maybe you have a passion, you want your business to open branches. Do you think your brother share the same passion? Do you think? Or that person you put in charge, do you think that person share the same vision you have? So you have to make sacrifices when you get a business. You see, this is very important for people who are into small businesses. Don't let the business just be, operated by somebody. I'm not saying don't trust people. This is far different from what I'm saying because I know people tend to misconstrue, things sometimes. I'm not saying don't trust people, but let that person be a like-minded person who share the same vision of you wanting to succeed, because nobody want to get into business where you want to get the business at loss. You want to eventually improve your business, get more money, and grow the business, and get the business expand in many places or so. That's a goal. But do you have the same goal as the person you have already put in charge of the business? No. So you have to know, prepare to make some sacrifices. Having your business often requires putting in more time than if you were working for someone else. Yes. See, that can mean spending less time and family and friends than you wish you could. I doubt that there is no weekend and no vacation for business owner can ring true for anyone who committed to making the business work. What they are trying to say here simply is there are a lot of time when you when you make sacrifices for the business. Take for instance, you won't go somewhere on a weekend. Somebody says, "I need 20 boxes of candle. I need 20 boxes of candle on Sunday." Somebody call you, you're a businessman. You're about to go on other time, on some kind of fun, and somebody just telephone you and say, "Oh, Ricky, I need 20 boxes of candle for my community. I'm gonna pay cash." What will you do? Will you still go on that fun knowing that the business is calling you to do business and you're gonna make money? Sometimes you have to make that sacrifice. See, because the business is very important. That person buy, you getting more profit. What is so important about going on a party to go have fun? What is so important? Your business is boring because they want to bring money. You think when you don't have money, you ought to go on party? No. So it's very important, guys. So, folks, I've recapped. I'm going to recap again. So it is very important as we talk about this topic on our Light Talk Business segment on the Rahim Show. Please share the podcast, make some comment. We highly appreciate you for that. We are discussing Light Talk Business, and what we are discussing is running a successful small business. How do you run a small, successful business? How? So I'm going to share the number just for 5 minutes, and I want people to call in and make the contribution on the topic. So just to recap on these 9 important tips, I listed 9 important tips that you can use to help yourself. These things are real life, real scenario 9 tips that happens for you to succeed. If you don't take advantage of some of these things that we share, you won't be able to succeed. And some of these things will help people who are very lazy and are all dependent on other people to run, things for them, not knowing they don't share the same vision. It's not gonna be, it's not a rocket science. Getting into business, just get the money, boom. It's not a rocket science. We just read something here. We just read a key something here about stay focused. The room wasn't built in a day. Just because you open a business doesn't mean that you are going to start making money immediately. No. Just because you start a business, it doesn't mean that money is going to be flowing right away. No. You have to make sacrifices. You have to be also consistent. If your goal is this, you have to be consistent with your goal. And that is how you succeed. But just to recap, because of time, we say that 9 tips for growing a successful small business. As we talk about running a successful small business, these are tips that will help you run your small successful business. We say 1, be organized. Get organized. Every business might be organized. If your business is not organized, forget it. You will not succeed. Being the owner of the business or being, even the caretaker of the business, if you're not organized, that business will not succeed. You can be doing a business and be doing different things. Business with pleasure, they are not compatible. So you have to be organized. Number 2 said, keep duty record. You have to keep a record. Why do you think most of the time people do clearance sale? When you see the store doing clearance sale, they no longer want to carry that product in stock. That's why they do clearance sale. They clear out, but yet they do inventory. You see, most of the time stores are checking. Yeah, checking. They're checking sale versus what is left in store, or what is left on counter. They're checking it because they want to balance their book. They want to balance their book. So always do inventory. When you own a business, always check your business. That is how you know what is being sold from what is left in your store. And then when you know how much you have sold, then you can be able to improve and say, oh, we need to sell much today. So I think we need to find a way to do strategy, come up with a strategy to encourage more customers so that they can come buy our business so we can make profit. So you have to keep duty record. And then analyze your competitor. Analyze. Know that what you are selling, people have sold it before and people are selling it. So you have competition. There is no business person who is selling something right now, and they are the only person selling it. Even with Tesla producing this car, right? People got cars similar to that car too. And there is a competition. Depending on the price, the same feature, there's some car that even got better feature than that car. So there is a competition. Somebody thinking about whether I should buy the electronic Tesla car or I should buy this. People are, making decisions. So the only way you can gain competitive advantage is to make sure that you satisfy the customer and analyze your competitor, see what your competitor is doing, and even improve it on yours to do more because we want to gain competitive advantage. So you have to do that. And then understand the risk. Every business comes with risk and reward. But you have to take the calculated risk first, then the reward will come later. Because business doesn't just, boom, you get money. No. You have to go through risk. Sometimes you break even, sometimes you even lose. Sometimes you operate at a loss. But you have to be consistent. And another thing that you got to be creative and strategic, because this is very important in business. Most of the business people do, if you're not strategic, why do you think people have, live stream and some people do advertising, for their businesses? Why do you think? All of the things the advertising agency use this thing called a unique selling proposition to just trick up people, to come up with something or buy one. You see, most of the time, these phone companies switch to this company. All of these things are all creative and strategic approach. Why do you think the phone company telling you just switch and you get like 50% of this phone? Why do you think they do so? These are all strategy. Because why? If one company decide to get, they have 5 million and they come up with this kind of strategy, and then 5 million come over, they have already gotten 10 million just from that strategy. So these are all approaches that help businesses to succeed. So be creative and strategic. The next thing is stay focused on your goal. You don't want to be distracted from your goal. You have a goal, stay focused on that goal to achieve that goal. Then another thing is provide great customer service. You have to prioritize. Your customer service should be at the top priority because they're the most important stakeholder of the business. Then be consistent. Don't be drifted. Be consistent. Today when you say this, I'm doing this, do it. Do it for the sake of the business and put aside all the things. Be consistent in your business and make sacrifices. If you make sacrifices, you will enjoy your business. So folks, that is how we come to the end rather of our show tonight. And I hope you guys enjoy this segment of our Light Talk business. We're talking about running a successful small business. And for some reason, if you watch the show on YouTube and Facebook, please share, make some comment. We highly appreciate you for that. So I want to say to our viewer out there, thanks for your support. And some of you who reach out to us through your text message and your comment, I want to say thank you so much. We appreciate all your support. Good night.